The one I do know, the older I get, the more I am like this. Welcome to the Business and Pleasure of Flowers. We're your hosts, Vonda
and Lori Wilson, and we believe that business and fun are a perfect combination. Kind of like us, Vonda.
Lori, it has been a long time since it's just been the two of us on our pod. I'm just like, what the heck?
No, it's really crazy. I feel like, you know how when back in the day, when the kids were home, you and your husband would be there, and like it was, let's pretend it was a holiday, and like family came in, extended family, it was just all crazy, and then finally everybody left, and finally you're just like, oh, that's how I feel.
Exactly. It's like I'm going to revisit that sign I hang at my door. All my visitors bring joy, some by coming, some by going.
I can mention by doing.
And I kind of feel like, woo, okay.
Yeah.
Time for us.
We've been very fortunate, though. We've never really had a visitor that we're like,
No, we had great visitors, and we had some wonderful guests. I mean, we've had some really great guests. It's been so exciting to be able to share that knowledge with everybody and the excitement. So that was good, but I just kind of missed us.
I know, I did too. But I have to say, I was walking my dog, Bo, and I listened to the pod with you and Julie and Tim.
Yeah.
And I loved listening to it from that perspective, right? Of not being on it.
Yeah.
And I giggled when, first of all, your favorite things, how you guys all had the same thing.
Yeah. That was crazy. Mm-hmm.
But what made me laugh and made me go, yep, that was always mine too, no matter what you all went and said, the bus ride. The bus ride. Because I was like, isn't that the truth?
Oh,
like every trip as a kid, like every mission trip I ever went on, like church camp or cheerleading camp or any kind of camp, even as an adult when I would go chaperone all the trips and stuff, the bus ride.
Yeah, it was just
funniest.
Yeah.
It's just where all the good stuff happens. And so I got tickled because I was like, oh man, I would have loved to have been on the bus with all of you guys.
It was. We said the people on the front of the bus weren't as fun as us on the back of the bus.
Yes. Oh, the back of the bus is where all the magic is. That's where the people got.
That was where the trouble was happening. You're right.
Okay. I was always in the back of the bus. I was in the back of the bus.
Of course you were. Of course you were, Lori.
Anyway, it made me giggle, and it sounded like a phenomenal trip.
It wasn't. I went searching my town for some hyacinth plants because I just was craving that smell.
Yeah.
Fragrance. And so I found one, and it's in my bathroom, which is enclosed. So you open the door and you're like, it brings you back to that moment. You're just like, oh, wow.
Wow.
That was great.
I cannot believe when you guys were talking about how they just chop them. They're just used for the bulbs.
Yeah. It was fascinating. We learned so much, so much.
Yeah, that's.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. You know me and my inability to focus. I focused the whole time. Like I actually walked longer than I normally would because I kind of got disrupted in listening to your voices and hearing the different perspectives. So it was really good.
Good. Well, the one thing we haven't caught up on lately is Lenny.
Oh, my life with Lenny.
Life with Lenny.
He's doing okay. So I signed him up. You know, he in his little senior living place, they were having a fishing tournament. The first thing was they called it a fishing rodeo. And that was a bit of a problem because he didn't understand if he was going fishing or going to a rodeo.
Oh, God.
I was like, So I just called it a fishing tournament. Okay. My son, Reese, met us there because like Reese has the fishing poles and he brought worms and I am not going to go buy worms. So Reese did all that and we met him there. And we took my dad, and that was just an event in itself, and it was quite funny. And now keep in mind, I grew up going to the lake every weekend. My parents had a place on the lake. My dad fished. He had trout lines. He was Mr. Fisherman. No
Mm,
one made fried catfish better than my dad.
mm.
So he knows all things fish. Our whole wall in a garage was lined with fishing poles, all this stuff. So it was kind of hard to see that he didn't quite know how to cast,
Oh,
those types of things. But
yeah.
my son was so good. He just would, a man of very few words, Reese would just cast it out, ro- roll it up a little bit and give it to him, and then reel it in a little bit, cast it back out. That happened for a while, but had a chair for him. He never caught a thing. And then every once in a while he'd mumble, "There ain't no fish in this pond. There ain't no fish in this pond." And I was like, "Daddy, I think you're right. I don't think there are. I mean, we saw a bunch of turtles, but we never saw fish. So I don't know." So
Mhm. Well,
after about an hour, I could tell he had kind of had it. And
yeah,
I said, "Are you ready to leave?" And he said, "Yep."
that
So
was enough. That
that
was
was,
enough.
and one of the ladies said, "Mr. Brock, we're getting ready to give out some prizes, and you got here first. You're going to get a prize." And he looked at me and he goes, "I don't need no prize." I go, "Daddy, I think it's a gift card." He goes, "I don't need a gift card." So I'm like, "God, you're not fun." Didn't even ask what it was for. I was like, "Well, I want a gift card. Maybe
Mm.
it's McDonald's. I don't know." So we
Oh,
left. We didn't get no prize.
you didn't get your prize, man.
Prize.
Oh,
We didn't get a T-shirt that says "Fish and Rodeo." Reese took it.
okay, well, that's good. Somebody will wear it. That's
Reese
good.
wore it. So it is what it is. He wanted to go back home and take a nap. In his defense, this was during his normal nap time.
Yeah. And you have to keep him on a routine, so when he was thrown out
Yeah,
of the routine and he
yeah.
wasn't catching fish and it wasn't exciting
Well,
because nothing
and
was coming in.
he did say he has Alzheimer's, but things comes up to his mind, and he pointed down and he said, "There's no minnows here.
Ooh.
I don't see no minnows.
Yeah.
There's no fish. There's
Mm.
no minnows. There's no fish." Which I haven't Googled it, but it sounds true.
It
I
does,
don't
it sounds true. Is that a snookered if not?
I don't know. If Leonard says it, it's gotta be true.
Yeah, isn't that funny that he could not remember to cast the pole, but he could remember that if you see
Yeah,
minnows, that means there are probably fish
yeah,
around.
yeah. Because
He
fish.
is right. I don't need to Google it because when I look off my dock and I see those minnows, there's
There's
fish around.
yeah, so, I don't know, but right across the way from us was another elderly man, and he was in a wheelchair with a woman, and he was asleep the whole time. So I feel like we were at least awake.
You
So
won. You
even
won.
better.
You got him out there.
I feel like we at least should have gotten an award for being awake. So, I don't know. Or I was like, "Well, look, he's choosing to nap out here. You could have napped out here." So, anyway, it's
Oh,
always something. Always
yeah,
something. He's doing all right. Doing all right, just day by day.
day by day. Yeah.
Anyway, so I have something because we didn't know what we were gonna talk about.
Well, and we said that this is Mother's Day week. We don't want anything heavy. Everybody's
It's gonna be
busy,
pleasure. No
but
business, just
this
pleasure.
is the Lori side. Here we
Yeah,
go.
it's just a Lori side. So I was thinking about revelations that I have had about myself, or confessions. We can call these confessions that I have
Oh,
realized about myself over the past, I don't know, could be year, could be years. Just
mhm.
things that keep popping in my head that I'm like, well, I'm going to share these with Fonda that
Mm.
maybe she doesn't know about me.
Okay.
And I think it's important, if we are going to continue our relationship, these are important things.
Okay.
that you
I would like this confession.
make sure you have a pen.
Okay, I'm because I should write this down.
Right, well, I have them.
Oh, okay, you could always send me a picture.
I could
Okay.
take a picture or fax it to you
Mhm.
if I had a fax machine. Number 1, I want a farm full of farm animals. However, I don't want to do any of the work.
That doesn't surprise me.
Okay, that is my confession part. The rev
Okay. You
This is
love the animals, but you
this is
don't
the
wanna care
beauty
for
of
them.
the whole thing. Like, here's the part, but the truth. So it's almost like,
Mm,
ugh,
mm.
I'm obsessed with all farm animals. That's why I spend so much time on TikTok, as we know, because I just love a baby goat. I love a baby sheep. I even love all of the little chickens. I would just want to be surrounded by all of these animals. I truly, truly think it's my calling. But then when I see the people working on the farms, that's where the hesitation comes in because I'm like, wow, that looks hard. And it might get cold and you still have to do the work. And I don't like cold weather
Mhm. Or it might get really hot.
or it'll get really hot.
Changes.
And a lot of times there is mud involved. I just am not a fan of mud.
And you do not like stinky
I
situations
don't like
either.
stinky. Oh, my problem with smells. So there's just a lot of obstacles that go along with this passion of farm animals. So
Mm.
I don't know what to do with it. I'm just confessing it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Number 2, and this one's going to hurt,
Okay.
but I feel like deep down you already knew this one.
Okay.
I
I'm waiting. I'm waiting very careful.
I don't like wine.
Deep down, I knew that.
You knew that.
I did.
I so wanna like it for you and Ellie's sake, but I don't.
and you'll always say, "Just give me a beer."
I just give me a beer. I try to be a sophisticated big girl when I'm with you guys, but,
I will admit, deep down, I did know that, and that's why I just like, "Are you sure?" Don't we usually say I
are
do. Ellie really wants you to have a good glass of wine with her.
I will say there have been a handful of times that she has ordered me a glass, and it's usually a white wine that I'm like, this is pretty good." Nowadays, though, she just gets me a beer. She doesn't even ask. She just won't give me the beer. But anyway, that's my revelation/confession.
Okay. Okay.
Know that.
Good to know.
Here's a revelation/confession. This one hit me at Easter, and
Mm,
I don't know. I just don't think this is normal because of my age. When we have family get-togethers, like with my cousins and aunts and uncles and family,
mhm.
I still sit at the kids' table. And my husband doesn't. My husband's at the adult table. Somehow, I am always at the kids' table with the high school grandkids.
I think that's the perfect place for you.
I'm like,
I
I
think
fit in better, and I'm requested at the kids' table. That is the problem.
that's a good thing.
I'm at the kids' table, and it hit me at Easter, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, why am I always at this table and all of the adults are in the other room, and here I am with all these high school students, oh, a couple of college kids, but anyway, because they're like, 'Aunt Laura, where are you gonna sit? Where are you gonna sit? You're gonna sit.'" And I was like, I'll sit in here. I'll sit in here." But I'm like, "This is so weird."
That is so funny. That is so funny. I love that.
Okay. This happened to me this morning on the way to my doctor's appointment. I don't know if this is normal. Truly, the revelation And I even put it on my phone because I'm like, and it's confession also. I have the ability to have a conversation in my head about something and literally crack myself up. Do you ever do that? Like, I can have a scenario going on, like a what if situation. Like, let's say if I think about, oh, I could play this joke on Vonda, and I can play it out and bust out laughing all by myself. And it would never actually happen.
I don't think I've ever done that, Lori.
Weekly, Vonda. Weekly. What is wrong with me?
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I think that's actually hilarious. You have that going on in your head.
I have it in my head and I'm like snickering. I'm laughing so hard. And then I start laughing harder. Going, like, is the car next to me looking at, like, I'm cracking up. I don't know. On that note, but complete opposite end, I cry at least twice a week. At least.
I do too. I don't think that's a bad thing.
And it could be a commercial. It could be the littlest. Like, it could be just, gosh, at least once a week I'm zooming with you and something makes us tear up.
See, exactly.
It's just,
well, and I'm sure if you see a baby animal that's hurt on TikTok, you're crying like crazy. You're saying it's a baby.
Yeah. What's funny about those things is at least once a week, something, and I mean, my husband's used to it all the time. And last night, I'm watching The Pit. You don't know what that is because you don't watch.
I have no idea what that is.
It's a series. It's on HBO. Remember the show ER back in the day?
I do remember that.
You do remember that? I loved it. So it's kind of that same concept, but it's on HBO. So watching that was an episode, and I can't remember what it was in it, but of course triggered me. I got tears going, and Mark's over there scrolling on his phone, and I'm over here, and this is our weekly thing because it could be anything we watch. It could be a sitcom and something, and it made me cry. And he's scrolling. I see he kind of looks his eyes over, and he has to do the whole, because legally we're married, so this is what he has to do. You could look at him and goes, "You all right?" I'm in a chair. He's over laying on the couch, and I'm like, He's like, "You sure? You good?" I'm like, "I am. I'm good." All right. And that's it. That's all I get. That's all I get anymore.
Well, just checking on you. Just check.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, all right. Like, boy, that's comforting.
But Bo comes over and comforts you, I'm sure.
Bo's on my head. He's around my neck.
Okay.
Like a scarf at that point, licking. Mama, I'm here. I'm going to love you forever. Anyway. Okay, here's my last one. I will leave. No. Well, yeah. I love when my flower clickers FaceTime me.
Really?
I do.
That's going to be really
that's probably bad. I shouldn't say that.
A bad idea to say that.
I will say we have a handful, not all of them, because they're busy. They don't always do that. And I don't have that kind of relationship with all of them.
Right.
There are some, and I get so tickled when I look down and they're FaceTiming me. And it's usually for a story that they're super frustrated, but it ends up, we start laughing.
So to diffuse their situation.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, hopefully. But I think more than that, the thought that they feel so safe that they want FaceTime, like, that's a pretty intimate thing.
It is an intimate thing, yeah.
And
that you feel
just
that
FaceTime anyone. You know what I mean? But like, hey, I not only want to call, I want to see your face.
Yeah.
Interesting. It makes me feel privileged many times. that they feel close enough. Now, I don't need 500.
I was gonna say, you've just opened that up.
All of them even text me, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm not saying that they should all be doing this to Tammy and Vaughn, but I have different relationship,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And the fact that some of them, that's their love language. Sometime anyway, I've thought through that, like, what is it? Why do I always answer?
Mhm. Right. Why do you always answer when you can?
When I can. A lot of times I'm in meetings and, like, 2 days ago, I couldn't. I was like, "Hey, I'm in a doctor's appointment with my dad," with
Yeah.
he,
Yeah.
and then call me back.
And you have a lot of that, so
Right,
yeah.
right. But I know they feel safe enough to do that.
Mhm.
That makes me feel good.
Makes you feel special, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, anyway.
So, what I just realized in all of this that you're saying is how much more of a self-aware person you are than I am.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you are so self-aware of all those little things, and I suppose if I really would key in for a week, I would come up with maybe a few of them. The one I do know, the older I get, the more I am like this, and that when people start to tell me a story, and I can tell it's gonna be long, I just have no patience. You I'm like, "Stop." You know, it's like, "Oh, well, let me go back to when we first met. Oh, let me go back to the no, don't, please, stop. Stop, no, I don't have time for this." And no you know what, Lori? I don't care. And then
Yeah,
I get like
yeah,
then I feel like I'm bad because I don't care, but I'm like,
yeah,
"No, stop. Don't
yeah. Stop.
stop, just stop. Just let me just walk away right now. You can finish
Yeah,
telling the story to
yeah.
somebody else."
It's at that
That's how I
point.
am.
No, but you know what? There's
Oh,
got to be some sort of transition you can say to help them understand, because they're the ones that need to be more aware of, hey,
mm,
because you know me, I'm a storyteller, but part of that, I'm aware that I'm a storyteller.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I need to know the other person. Hey, are they engaging with me, or are they like Mark, my husband, going back to him, who is very similar to you, he will quickly shut that down, go, "Bottom line it, bottom line, bottom line."
Yeah, but some people you can't do that to.
Right,
I wish you
right,
could.
but so that's taught me,
Yep.
hey, there's a lot of Marks in the world. I need to be able to figure out, am I talking to one of those?
But again, it's you are very self-aware, so you
Well,
know
I've
that.
had to, because I can get my feelings hurt. Well,
Oh
it's
my
in
god.
our best interest as humans, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Become more self-aware so we can communicate better with people.
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
mm,
but
and I
that
have a hard time shutting it down, but sometimes I'm just like, "I'm sorry, I gotta get back to work,"
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
something, but that
yeah.
would be mine. I just
Well, I can see you do that, and we just need to come up with a better transition for you,
yes.
because you
Help me work on that. Help me work on the transition.
will, because you don't want to, sometime you're gonna do that and not intentionally, but it's gonna be to somebody that you do truly care about, and you're gonna crush them, and you're not gonna know you did.
Mhm. You're right. Mm.
And then you're gonna wonder why they don't wanna talk to you anymore. That's a good point, but you know that about yourself now.
Oh, I know that about myself, and I try to be very careful, and sometimes I just avoid conversations because of that with certain people, because I know there are certain people who that's gonna happen with, and I'm better off just not starting the conversation
Mhm.
than to go into it and feel like I'm stuck.
Do you have to be in a certain mood, or is this all the time?
I suppose if you give me a lot of wine, I can stand there for a long time and listen.
True. No,
Mm.
you're right, and as we age, we I I and this could sound selfish, but I don't mean to, but as we grow older, I think we become more protective of our time,
I think that's
who we
well said.
spend time with.
Yeah.
I think that's why the older I get, the more I'm not constantly socializing, wanting to make more and more and more and more friends all the time, like when I
Right.
was younger, right? Or
Right.
a new mom constantly wanting to seek out other new mom. I'm like, I have to
Mhm.
wait my time again. I'd rather just lay on the couch tonight. I don't want to go to
Yeah.
this new networking or whatever. So, you
Whenever that's going on, just bring you back to this. Whenever that's going on in my mind, all I can think of is my husband Bud used to say, "They gave me more answer than I had a question for." And I'm like, "God," that's what's going on. I'm like, "Oh, man, that was way more answer than I had any question for."
you
So,
know what? I have this on my list, and I wasn't going to talk about it, but that leads perfectly into it. They gave me more answer than I had a question for. Last week, so the girl that cuts my hair has been out on maternity leave, and I noticed that she was back. So I was like, yay, I'm going to schedule. So I scheduled online
mhm.
to do it. And so when I did, they have my credit card on file, no big deal. But it was weird because as soon as I scheduled, I got a notification that they had charged my credit card and I wasn't to go for 2 weeks. And I'm like,
Wow.
they charged me like half. Within an hour, I was charged again. So I'm like, something's weird. So
Yeah.
I called, and the guy that owns the place, it's a smaller place, the guy that owns it, who is weird. I'm just going to say I've met him and he did my hair once. He's very strange, but whatever. He cuts hair well, but he's weird. He answered, and I was explaining to him. I had a question. Going back to what you said, I had a question. I was charged, and could he help me figure this out? And instead of saying, yeah, that is weird, actually, what it probably was a glitch in their system. He goes into how the girl, and I'm going to mention her name, is just now coming back, just had a baby. He goes into this long drawn out conversation how she just had a baby, which I already know. Like, I have her on my text. We text. I
Right.
know this girl. Anyway, goes into this long story, kind of blaming her, which she has nothing to do with the system. And I said, what does this have to do with the fact that I've been charged twice on my credit card for an appointment that's in 2 weeks? But yet, if I would have called to make the appointment, I wouldn't have been charged the fee. Like, and he goes, well, she is just trying to make her way. Like,
What?
horrible customer service. Like, it
Oh
made
my.
no sense. No sense. He was just giving me more answer than I had question.
Right,
Going to
right.
your point.
Just credit my dang credit card.
Right, right. So I said, tell you what, can you just credit my credit card? And he said, well, I'll try to get to it today, but I'm really busy running a business right now. And he just went into another story.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane. So I said, well, when do you think you can get to it? What? And he goes, well, I don't know. I can't make any promise. Like, such a total jerk. And I'm thinking, he owns this business.
Wow.
This is his business. You know me and customer service. I'm just floored by how this man is acting. He goes, in fact, I have a customer right now that I'm in the middle of. And I go, why did you answer the phone if you're in the middle of fixing someone's hair? He goes, because I thought it was important. And da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I never raised my anyway. I went online and figured out how I could cancel my
Yep.
appointment,
Yep.
and it gave me one of them back. And then, like an hour later, someone called, a girl called who was probably the desk girl. So nice. She said, I wanted you to know I refunded it. She said, it is the weirdest glitch in this system, the way it's set up. And she explained it to me.
Yeah.
She said, I don't know why it's set up this way. I didn't set up, basically.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway, but in my mind, I thought, can you imagine if a flower shop was set up this way
Mm-mm.
online for delivery in 3 days, yet we're double charging you now. And then someone calls and you're like, I'm sorry, we're busy. We can't get like, what?
Yeah. Well, they'll never call again, that's for sure.
What in the world? But it just made me think of that when you said more answer than I had. I just had one simple question. What is happening?
And he goes into the whole story
Oh,
about the girl.
throwing the poor hairdresser under the bus about why don't she had a baby. I'm like, what does that have to do with the credit card processing company? It has nothing to
Wow.
do with it. Yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Well, Lori, we're almost done, and there's only one thing that I wanted to cover. I wanted to ask you how you're doing on your bingo card.
Oh, not what I don't have the bingo.
Well, confession, I don't either. I
Vonda,
just looked up the other day and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing well on bingo. How's Lori doing on her bingo card?
how are you doing?
You
Okay,
know?
dress for success 3 times a week. Uh, Could I be out in corporate America? No. Am I flower click dressed?
You
Yes.
are. You have done, I will say, you are doing well.
Yes, I'm up and showered and ready to go.
Mhm.
Mother-daughter trip, well, that got canceled.
Yeah.
Not my
Mhm.
fault, my daughter's. Vacation abroad, I've got 2 of those scheduled.
Woohoo. Okay. You're
Uh,
doing well.
so what about you?
Well, I have down 2 trips to Tyler Martin and I have 1 scheduled, so that's gonna
Okay.
go. I
Yes.
have my Netherlands trip s crossed off, Notre Dame crossed off.
Yes.
I
Yes.
did those. Clean my office weekly. I've been doing that,
Good.
so that's good. But I've been posting our posts on LinkedIn, our podcast.
Yeah. What about did you hire a cleaning lady?
I didn't. And then I keep going back and saying, "Do I really want one?"
Ah, yes. I'm tomorrow.
And when I talked to Ellie about it, what she said is, if you had a cleaning lady, Saturday wouldn't have to be domestic day. That's what I call it, domestic day, Saturday. You could go play golf. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of
100%.
tempting. Then I could go out and play golf on
I'm
Saturday.
telling you, mine comes every other Friday now. Switched her days, and it makes Saturdays and Sunday because Martin does golf on the weekends, so it makes weekends even that much better because then
That's what I would need it to be on, is Friday, maybe a Thursday at the latest, because
Yeah.
otherwise I'd feel like I'd have to do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. No, have it as late during the week as you can. And
So what else?
well, I'm not doing well in my strength training classes because I'm not going. Explore retirement states.
Haven't done that yet.
No, no. Go out on more dates. I think we've been doing that more, and because I put even double dates, we've been trying to go out to dinner more with friends. And like we went to a fabulous baseball game.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but I was going to say that was probably a date night, the Astros game.
That was Mark's World. That was a date night to the Astros game. Read more books. I am reading books. I put down read 30 books this year, but think I'm only through my second book
Okay.
this year. That's not much.
Well, you'll be on a plane for hours, so you might be able to get a couple in there for sure.
Yeah. So create more content for Flower Click.
Yeah, I'm going pretty good on that.
We've been working on that. We're working on our presentation for Texas State, so that will continue to be content. So we're doing all right. The thing is, I mean, besides like vacation to fill in the blank, these aren't things you can just like check off done. They're
Right.
like ongoing things.
And I think that's the key, is that we always have to pick it up and remind ourselves. And that's what I would say to the clickers who did this with us. When you have your bingo card, just take time to look at it and glance and say, how am I doing?
Yeah, true. Exactly. And that'll be something to look at after Mother's Day.
Right.
True.
Don't do it now.
Now, don't worry about it now, but maybe after Mother's Day, take some time to decompress and then look and go, hey, how am I doing on my bingo card?
What do I need to do to regroup before the next big thing?
Yeah, next big thing. So, all right. Next time we have a pleasure one, you're going to tell me your confessions.
I gave you one. That's
You gave me one. That's all.
I really have to be more self-aware. have to decide if I'm sitting in the car and cracking up, thinking of you and you cracking up.
No, that didn't work. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us because we enjoy spending time with you. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button or add the business and pleasure of flowers to your Google morning routine or your flash briefing on Alexa. We look forward to seeing you next week.
So please come back and join us and discover how a bit of knowledge and one small change in your mindset can take you to new levels in your life and business.